the big revelation was that there was clear potential for the use of an ayahuasca analog, which is really surprising. It's kind of, if that's true, that's a really big deal, because ayahuasca has, we'll back up. Ayahuasca is a hallucinogenic tea. It's used by the indigenous of the Amazon and by different people. Now it's gotten pretty big, but it originates in South America. So it's never been known to have been used here outside of it being imported from there. But evidence is pretty good that there was. And I tentatively term this in the book Ayahuasca. Maybe after we learn more about it and get some more research under our belts, we'll come up with a better term for what this stuff was. But yeah, so
what were the plants? What was it derived from? What plants was it derived from?
So traditionally, ayahuasca is a combination of two plants or more, but basics are two plants, one of which contains NN-DMT, and this generally comes from Psychotria viridis, Diplopterus cabrerana in some cases, and it has to be, in most cases, it has to be combined with a monoamine oxidase inhibitor to render it orally active, because DMT under normal circumstances isn't orally active. It breaks down in the gut before it ever makes it into the bloodstream. So it's mixed with a secondary plant traditionally, which is Banisteriopsis caapi. And this is a vine that contains a substance called harmine that is a monoamine oxidase inhibitor. And the combination of these two renders an incredibly potent visionary tea that's used ritually in South America. Well, these plants don't grow here. So it's another reason it's never really been considered that a substance like that could have been used here. But the research shows that they were very familiar with and were boiling the roots of and likely consuming the roots of this tree. It used to be classified as Acacia Americana.
Yeah, I was going to ask if it was Acacia.
It is. It's an acacia. It's been reclassified now as Gleditsia triacanthos. But even that acan and acanthos, that root is the same root that acacia comes from. So acacia is still implied in the name, but it's now called Gleditsia triacanthos and more popularly known as honey locust. So the Path of Souls is an afterlife model. It's where the Mississippians believed that the soul could go upon death. It didn't just go there. This was secret knowledge. And the Path of Souls is what we recognize as the Milky Way galaxy. And there's a particular portal, an entrance way that allows the soul to get on this Path of Souls. So wow. If you want to visualize it, you can imagine the geocentric model of astrology, with the Earth here at the center of, and the planets moving in the ecliptic like this. If you look at Porphyry's his commentary on Homer, where he describes what's called the Cave of the Nymphs, Porphyry interprets this cave as being a world, and there are two entrances to this cave. In the below world, there is what they call an underwater panther. He has different names depending on the tribe. The one name I think is interesting is Missipeshu, which shares the same root as Mississippi. That feeds into even more recent occultism with there's a tradition of what are called Rosicrucian novels, and one of the most famous is called Etidorpa bugs, and he gives one of the earliest descriptions also of. Are you familiar with mad honey? hallucinogenic honey?
No.
Okay, well, if honey is made from the pollen of rhododendron flowers, then it's intoxicating. The one that gives us the most evidence are the Cherokee.
Okay.
And the ethnographies specifically preserved by James Mooney, who was also an important figure for Southwestern Native Americans. And he says that this is clear evidence that these things were being cultivated intentionally in these spaces by the Cherokee. He says it's hard to visit a mound site or a sacred site that was sacred to the Cherokee and not at any place on the land not be within a stone's throw distance of a honey locust tree.